for most of the year, live here now, are not claimed as a dependent, and filed 2020 taxes before October 15th, 2021. $600 for people who qualify. If you file jointly, your combined income would need to be less than $75,000, plus another $500 if you have dependents. Does a dependent just mean a child, or are there adult dependents factored in?
There are others who can qualify, and it gets a little technical. All that's laid out on the website, ftb.ca.gov.
If you got money from Golden State Stimulus 1, you'll miss out on this round.
So fourth stimulus check update is here, and here is a ton of information that you need to know, everybody. To claim the stimulus payment of $300, state officials have announced that hundreds of dollars will be able to qualify, and you'll be able to qualify for this relief very soon. Here is the most important news. The people of Delaware have just 14 days left to submit their applications for the latest round of relief checks, and that's worth around $300. According to state officials, the state of Delaware has so far issued around 782,000 direct checks for $300 each and per adult. So thousands of more residents will qualify for the disbursement of stimulus checks. Applicants must be residents and also 18 years or older to qualify for the stimulus payment. And the state secretary of finance has said in an official statement, if you have not been sent a check, you should definitely apply if you meet the qualifications to apply for a rebate. The governor signed the bill and has established the 2022 Delaware Rebate Program. It's projected to return $230 million to everybody in the state. Payments had rolled out to residents who filed their income taxes, but the state has created a pathway for people who didn't do that. Eligible residents of Idaho also have until the end of the year to claim a special session tax rebate of at least $300 for individuals and $600 for joint filers. Idaho tax officials have already begun distributing the rebates back in late September, but lingering eligible recipients have until December 31st to find the appropriate paperwork to claim their payment. To qualify, individuals must have resided in the state for a full year in 2020 as well as 2021 and file their individual income taxes for both of those times. The precise payments vary based on one financial situation, but will entail another 10% of a taxpayer's income. So the special session rebate was part of a larger $1 billion stimulus package. And so far, the state has issued more than $5 billion in inflation relief money to eligible taxpayers, expecting either direct deposits or debit cards up to $1,000. The franchise tax board has distributed more than 6 million direct deposits and more than 2.5 million debit cards across the state since the middle of last month. According to state officials, a total of 18 million payments, direct deposits, and debit cards combined will be issued next month of January. Now, majority of direct deposits have been issued, and the last few qualifying taxpayers can expect to receive payments in their account by November 27. Gas prices in California are consistently higher than the rest of the country, and that's the state's taxes. A cleaner fuel blend and isolated gas refining market, and much more details on that. But in September, the gas prices are even higher, than the gap grew even wider. Gavin Newsom pointed the finger at the gas industry when he talked to reporters in early October. Newsom then called for a new windfall profit on tax oil companies. According to a spokesperson, this idea would be good, and Californians would be positively impacted by this. And even some people are getting $270 inflation relief checks. If you're eligible, you don't have to do anything. Checks will be mailed to you, and you'll probably get in the mailbox or even in your bank. Not only that, folks, but listen to this. According to CNN, white-collar workers will be hit harder than blue-collar workers if the United States enters a recession. Economists say that the crisis shifted things around and has accelerated automation, and it's pushing white-collar workers out of jobs. In this post-crisis environment, businesses are restructuring themselves and they're changing the way they operate. So, who knows?
Senator Van Hollen, Maryland's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank all of you for your service and your testimony here today. Vice Chair Barr, I want to start with you on FedNow. I've been a big proponent of moving to a real-time payment system. As you know, our current lack of real-time payments costs millions of Americans billions of dollars, especially those living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, Aaron Klein over at Brookings did an estimate that said if the United States had implemented real-time payments when the Bank of England did back in 2007, Americans would have saved over $100 billion in overdraft, check cashing, and other fees. And those are mostly Americans living paycheck to paycheck. So I understand from a speech you gave a little while ago, you estimate that the FedNow program will be live in May or to July of next year. Are we fully on track with that? Because there have been lots of delays. Are we fully on track? And what share of Americans that bank do you think will then have access at that point in time to real-time payments?
Thank you, Senator Van Hollen, and thank you for the support of the FedNow program. I do think FedNow is going to significantly improve the ability of banks to offer real-time services to customers. FedNow obviously will sit as the backbone behind what community banks and others decide to offer.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So we have a lot of news to go over in today's update. First of all, I need you to know this. Nancy Pelosi says that the House of Representatives is working hard to pass the infrastructure bills before October 1st. And remember folks, President Biden wants to do several things on infrastructure. He wants to do something called social infrastructure, which might include the expansion of the child tax credit payments, as well as an increase to the Social Security benefits. So you guys have to stay until the end of this video to see what President Biden is saying surrounding the fourth stimulus check. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
We have more bills to come. At the start of all this, we had two bills which were about emergencies, the first two bills. And the emergency isn't over, but the focus was on those two bills. Now we're mitigating for the damage of it all to the health and to the livelihood of the American people.
And share this video with your friends and family. So as I said folks, Nancy Pelosi said on Saturday that the lower chamber is hard at work to pass both a bipartisan infrastructure bill and a larger Democratic-backed spending package by October 1st. Pelosi said that the Build Back Better plan laid out by President Biden has a broad and bipartisan level of public support. She also stated that the $3.5 trillion price tag for the bigger infrastructure package will remain a top-line number for the bill. Let's not forget folks, this infrastructure bill might include child care, home health care, and paid family leave, as well as medical leave. So President Biden could send out the fourth stimulus check inside of this infrastructure bill. And according to Pelosi, she told reporters that the president has been clear. This is the number that will honor his vision to build back better.
For millions of Americans, Social Security is a lifeline. Nearly 2/3 of all seniors depend on it for most of their income. It keeps 15 million people out of poverty. And for millions of people who suffer accidents, who get sick, Social Security disability insurance.
And the $3.5 trillion is a number that has been agreed to in the Senate and is now before us in the House. Early this month, the Senate did pass a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure measure with support from both sides of the aisle. This piece of legislation allocated money for more traditional infrastructure, like updates to electrical grids, water systems, and air, as well as public transit. Following the bill's passage in the upper chamber, the Senate also passed a $3.5 trillion budget resolution. And that's a move that paves the way for Democrats to pass their larger spending package without GOP support, bypassing the legislative filibuster. Now the resolution awaits a decision in the House of Representatives. So folks, once the House of Representatives votes on this infrastructure bill, they then can start working on more stimulus payments and helping out the American people with federal stimulus relief money. So folks, why do you think Congress is taking so long to send out the